Hi everyone, you're watching The Tattooed Psychic. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. I appreciate it very much. I'm kind of new to all this, but I'm trying. You feel me? So, today I want to just take a minute and say congratulations for being here today, and I hope you are feeling beautiful and loved. Part of healing and part of my journey is sharing my story with you because of all the trauma that I had to overcome in life and on my journey as a human being and a spiritual being. It's not always easy to balance these things out. It's not always easy to understand the world we live in or to understand our purpose in this world. And sometimes I even have doubts myself and think maybe we just don't have a purpose, maybe there's no reason. But I do believe there is, and I've always had that in me ever since I was a little girl. And as if you watch my story, you know me as a person. You know I didn't have the greatest life. I didn't have mother or father. I knew my mother, right? I knew who she was, but and she died in January of this year, and that was a whole thing for me. But that's another podcast. But my mom had her own demons to fight. You know, she had her own trauma in life that I don't know if she ever dealt with, and unfortunately, that trauma impacted her children and her grandchildren, and for me, it was very difficult. I was remembering today as a child, and unfortunately, because of the molestation and the rapes and the things like that, you do have moments where, even as a grown woman, I'm in my 50s now, I still have moments like when I'm in the bathroom, because a lot of it happened in the bathroom at the foster home I was in. This morning I had a moment and I was like, oh man, you know, I forgot about all that, and then it comes back. And so, you know, trauma is something that is very heavy, especially if you've had it ever since you were a child, or abandonment, anything, you know. Imagine, you know, I always tell people, I actually am very proud of myself because I have a lot of love in my heart. I try to help as many people as I can, and that's not like, ooh, look at me, I'm so great, and all that. It's just, I'm proud of myself for not letting the darkness rule my life. And I was able to, through Joe Dispenza's methods, be able to face all of that and that trauma. But sometimes the memories come back, and it's how we react to them that really matters, you know. And so even though we might do all this healing and we're in a great place in life and we want to share that with others, what happens is we just have that moment. And for me this morning, when I reacted to it, instead of like, oh my God, you know, and getting frustrated, angry, sad, whatever, I went, wow, this would be a really great time to educate myself and others on this trauma experience, and how once we get a hold of it, we can really control it more. And so that's what I did instead, is make a podcast. So here I am. And one of the things that I want to reiterate always in my podcast is how much spirit changed my life and how much I've seen it change other lives. And when people, I know a lot of people go, Faye, what you always say, spirit says this, spirit does this, spirit this. What do you mean? And what I mean by that is, when I say spirit, I mean all kinds of things, to be honest. Sometimes I mean my spirit guides, sometimes I mean other people's spirit guides, or just messages I'm getting off of vibration. But spirit is all around us at all times, and there's good spirit and not so good spirit. This morning I was actually watching a documentary on a couple in New Orleans, where the man killed his girlfriend after Katrina. And some people say he was possessed, and they were talking about how spirits can possess people and make them do evil things, because there are evil spirits, right? And so when I say spirit, I mean all kinds of things, but there's also great spirit and spirit guides and stuff. And so it's more in the context of what I'm talking about. If I'm talking, you know, I will usually say darker spirits if I'm talking about those, or lighter spirits if I'm talking about those. But when I say spirit says, I'm usually talking about my spirit guide. Does that make sense? I hope it does. And also other people's loved ones passed on is spirit. So it's all kinds of things, really. But when I work with spirit, and that is working with my spirit guides and working with energy, that is positive. I also took a journey. Actually, I started working with the darker spirits, the not so great spirits, because that's really where my life was. I had come across so much evil at an early age that I wanted to know about it. I wanted to understand it and figure it out, and why was I being attacked, and why didn't my mother love me, and why was I born into this world of just abuse and neglect, and when I just wanted love, right? And to this day, and I don't mean romantic love, I've given up on that. It's more just love. I want to live in a world where people smile at each other and say hello and help each other out. And that is why I just loved living in the South so much, is in the South, it was that vibe that I loved. I loved Texas people, not all of Texas, of course, but the parts I lived in were really awesome. It was Austin, Texas was the best city I ever lived in. It was my favorite place to live. I also love New Orleans, but you also have to understand, if you watch documentaries on New Orleans, you understand there's a lot of darker spirits in New Orleans, so it's harder for people like me to navigate. But I love that city, and if I had, greater fortune, I would definitely be having a home in Texas and New Orleans. So I love both of those places for different reasons. I love to go to New Orleans to remember that, oh yeah, there's all kinds of energies walking around here that I might forget. And I like to go to Texas to work on that higher humanity vibration where the people in the city of Austin and Spicewood Springs and Pflugerville and Georgetown are a little more, open to things and treating each other nicer. I mean, really, I've never been treated nicer by any other human beings than by Southern people in Texas, New Orleans, and Arkansas. They have been really kind. Not all of them. Like my ex was from Arkansas, who tried to kill me, but you remove him, but he was also an alcoholic, so there's all that. But I'm talking in general, the people were very kind to me. Everyone has a different story. But anyway, so where was I going with all of that? Spirit, yeah, spirit. So spirit is all kinds of things. It's just life. It's just energy. It's everything around us. And there's so many things to question in the world, right? And I'm fascinated by all of that. But the one thing I was fascinated by most of all is how I work and how my brain works, and how I reacted to that trauma, and how I was able to shift that into being a more loving, kind person to myself, most of all, and to others, and be a better mother, even though, my children are grown, but all these, and be a better friend to people who understand my life and understand my mental disorders, and forgive me for all of it, and I forgive them for all of it, and it's a mutual exchange, and it's an understanding. I don't even think it's a necessary forgiveness. It's just when people who really know me know my heart. They know that what I do is with passion and love. I really do want to help as many people as I can find their true love inside themselves and heal that trauma and abuse, and see the purpose of their life. Because I know it's possible. I've done it, and many people have done it, but it takes commitment and time, and sometimes you need guidance, and that's what I'm here for, is to kind of maybe open a door you didn't know you had or something. That's what I think healers, readers, genuine healers and readers, not scandalous people who take advantage of people's weakness and lie to them about curses, and you need this candle and I'll remove a curse. You're not cursed. I mean, I think in a way we were all cursed coming to the planet Earth. It's fucking hard here, but it's more, you have to get a hold of your brain and the power of the brain, and how it reacts to things, and how you can control it. Because when you grow up in abuse, or you grow up in any kind of situation where you have a trauma, no matter what it is, it doesn't have to be sexual or physical, it could be mental, spiritual, religious, whatever, that is how your brain is. And so you don't know, you were not taught the power of your brain and how to reverse that energy and turn it into power. And spirit helps us do that, ironically. And that's what I love about Joe Dispenza so much, is he's been able to master spirit and well, I don't know if he would call it spirit, but he might. He master energy and how the brain works and how it's so connected, and I love that, and how we can heal trauma because and how we can heal illness with the power of our brain and the power of our energy and the power of our spirit. And I started with the power of my spirit by trying to understand the psychic ability I had. Why was I able to talk to people passed on? And I was doing this back in the 80s and 90s, and not too many people were doing it or understanding it, so I was kind of a freak show. But now more people have an understanding of it and acceptance of a continuum after we leave this physical realm. And so I think it's more accepted now than it was back in my day. And so there's always been struggles with me in this. So I've always been trying to balance my spirituality with my physical. And it's been very hard for me to have relationships in my life because I've been treated like such shit in almost every relationship except maybe one that, and I didn't know how to react when they were treating me good, so that was a shocker. But, everybody I've ever trusted has shit on me, and so I become a shitty person too, right? And that's the cycle of life. And then I hit a point in the past few years where I was like, you know what? And the last two guys I tried to date, forget it. I mean, God bless them, bless your hearts, but no, no, no. Too much damage there and just lies and bullshit. I just don't have time. And then I really hit the point where, and I was, and I'm going to leave out the part about my ex trying to kill me and all that. You can watch other podcasts of that. I'm just want to focus on the spirit part of it now. But, I've had to really look at my life and say, man, I've had nothing but toxic sadness relationships, men who are so damaged that and would lie to me no matter what, and it's just crazy, right? And women too. I date women too, and women I find are more always into their ex, which I'm kind of over. I don't want to talk about your ex, and I know that my lady friends who date women know what I'm talking about, and you're laughing about this right now, but it is true, and so I'm over that. I mean, I was talking to this really cool woman, and I was so into her, but she was like, my ex is coming over for dinner, and we're going to hang out, and all that, and I'm like, I'm just not comfortable with it. I just think it's strange to me, but, and so I'm like, you know what, and I'm not saying hate your ex or never see them again, but I don't know. I'm just not into it. So I'm really cool. Pay attention to me. Invite me over for dinner. You know what I mean? And so I've just given up on all aspects of that. And I spent the last few years just focusing on myself. And boy, it's been a great journey. And I've gotten sober and I've gotten self-aware. And I am able to really see my responsibility in some of the toxic relationships I've had, and that's pretty humbling when you have to face your own demons and your own responsibilities for things happening in your life and people you have hurt in your life. That's not easy to do, but it's part of the journey of a healer and a spiritualist to face those things and admit it. You are never going to be that loving, great person that all of you want to be, because you do. You want to be loved, you want to be loving, you want to get the things you want in life with ease, and the only way to achieve all of that is to address all the darker energies in your life, including the ones in yourself, and not being afraid to be alone, and not being afraid to face those things and get rid of them in your life, and not be afraid of the unknown to your new self. It's a beautiful place. I'm discovering parts of myself now at this age where I'm like, man, this is really, I just love myself because I'm, interesting and fun. I love art. And the other day I took the monorail. I live in the city, and I took the monorail to the Seattle Art Museum, and I spent the day with myself looking at beautiful art and just seeing how it felt with me. And I'm paying more attention to how I resonate in the world now as this different person. As Joe Dispenza calls it, it's like the new self. And many of you know what I mean. We've stepped into the new self, which is this really unknown place for us, where we actually really like ourselves. So like we're really like, and we have standards now by people who we allow in our lives. And yeah, I just don't give my time now to people who aren't on that vibration. And I spend a lot of time alone. And that's okay. And that's what I've had to do to heal from years and years and years of making the wrong choices and trauma and hiding from my past and not wanting to remember all the horrible things, and I'm being so hurt by the men who treated me so poorly in my life. Like, and yeah, it's been an interesting journey. But Spirit keeps telling me there is a masculine female energy out there for me. So one day we might run across each other. Who knows? That will be a very cool time. So I want to draw some cards, and I hope all that makes sense. So I just wanted to remind you to be patient with yourself, man. If you were going through it, and we 2024 has started off as, I'm grabbing my cards if you're wondering what I'm doing, but we have had a rough start of the year. I know we all have. It's been strange. Very strange. And but I think we're coming out of it. And I think the world is always going to bring change in our lives. And when people say they're changing, I'm like, I hope so. I hope that you are changing, and I hope that your life just gets nothing but better and better, because the more self-aware we become and the more work we do, the more we, excuse me, gotta drink some water or something, but the more we become in the ease of flow with our natural state of energy and the way it's supposed to be on this world. I can't tell you, one of the other things Spirit is bringing up, I got this. Know you belong. That's the one I've always had a problem with, but knowing you belong is very important, because so many of us, especially if we're psychics or healers in any way, we don't feel like we belong a lot, and we feel alone a lot because, well, first of all, we're supposed to be alone. That's how we learn. Just so you know, if you're wondering why you've always felt that way, it's because you truly have a gift and you need to share it somehow. And it could be music, art, psychic ability, healing, energy work, whatever, whatever it is. And that comes in many forms. People are chefs, bakers. Those are healers too. Providing people with good nourishment and yummy happiness, sweets and treats, and anywhere you put your passion is your gift, right? That's your gift. Some people are builders, creators, architects, whatever that passion is, that's where you belong. And you do belong. We all do. I hope all that made sense. And I forgot where I was going earlier, so because I'm just going to draw some cards. I do that sometimes. My energy is in a million places. Oh yeah, that's what it was. Thank you, Spirit. One of the things that I want to teach you all right now, because this is a cool one. We only control this amount of space, like from here to here. After this, nothing. After this, we control nothing. We can't control what people think, how they're going to react, what they're going to do, what they're going to do, how they're going to react, or anything like that. So I just want to remind you of that. I'm going to pull a card. Let me see. Challenge your perception. I love that card because what's up with the light? There we go. What Spirit does, it does allow us to challenge who we are. And I think that the more we challenge who we are, the better off we are in the end, because we then excel to a higher place of being. My light is flickering. Is it Spirit? No, I think it's just a malfunction. Could be Spirit. Hell, I don't know. But that's what I got for you today. I hope all that made sense. I've got to get ready to go. I've got a date with my daughter today. Wash away your burdens. Here we go. Okay, one more card that just came to me. Let's remember today that anything that you are negatively feeling, you can control, okay? And sometimes that energy comes up so you can start dealing with it and mastering it. For me, that's how it's always been, and I know a lot of healers in the world, and it's kind of, we all kind of have learned the same way, where we face our demons, and then we grow and become more enlightened, because the more negative we remove, it brings in more room for the positive energies to come work with us. I hope all that makes sense. Wash away your burdens. Go take a bath. Go swim. Do what you gotta do. It's up to you. Love y'all. Thanks for watching the Tattooed Psychic.